Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to thinkBIM. My name's Duncan Reed. I am the chair of thinkBIM. Thank you very much to our sponsors, BuildDots, for our autumn conference on artificial intelligence and machine learning. We will be tweeting about the event, so you can join the conversation even if you're not here, although nobody's going to hear that because I've said it, but use the hashtag TBIM2020 and by all means join in the conversation. Hopefully you all in the joining instructions saw the link to launch Slido. We'll be using that in about 15 minutes or so for our live polling a bit later on. The event is being recorded, so we can then share the recording afterwards with people, so that's happening as well. And firstly now to go through our usual digital update. So what's been happening in the last 3 months or so since our last event? Well, I guess the major thing for us all is we now have 2 new ISO standards, ISO 19650 Part 3 and 19650 Part 5, to add to the suite of global standards for digital adoption of BIM. Part 3 deals with the operational phase of the assets, replacing the old PAS 1192 Part 3. And Part 5 is the security-minded approach to information management, again replacing the in the UK PAS 1192 Part 5. So those are available from BSI, obviously vital for the industry moving forwards. A few bits and pieces now of updates that we've seen in the news. So there is an online builders merchants called CMO Stores who are now using AI to do what they call hyper-personalize the experience for their customers in terms of buying building materials. So again, with our theme today, using AI for that. Also, another AI example that we've seen recently is Newcastle using a whole suite of sensors that they had around the city already. They have started to look at various data sets to understand actually how social distancing was or wasn't being successful in Newcastle. This work started a couple of months ago, and it's obviously helped to inform the city as to how to deal with the COVID crisis that we're currently going through. Similarly, another one at a more UK overall level, Escri, the mapping company, have determined that actually only 30% of the UK's pavements are 3 metres wide by doing an exercise using the data sets that are available in order to actually allow 2 people pass safely on the pavement, whereas 36% are 2 to 3, 34 are less than 2 metres. So again, these interesting data sets that already exist that may be publicly available that can be put to new uses in the current climate. Next up, using technology to access and support disabled employees. We're always being told that the industry is facing a skills crisis. We've probably now all seen for the last 5 or 6 months that actually there is a vast amount we can all do from working from home or working remotely, wherever that might be. And this then means we've actually got the opportunity to consider perhaps people that might have had access issues in terms of getting onto sites or getting to work or whatever, actually can work from their home and can work very successfully. So again, another opportunity with big organisations here trialling it in Scotland, both STV and the Scottish Government, to understand actually how things could be improved for us all. Staying in Scotland, a project from Historic Environment Scotland, the University of Edinburgh and the Heriot-Watt University, using a combination of laser scanning and photogrammetry to understand and assess historic buildings. And from this, they've been able to detect defects in masonry and look and understand actually and quantify the stone and mortar required for conservation repairs. Staying up in Scotland, because the future Scottish Futures Trust does some great work in publicising it as well. Glasgow is now setting up 25 sensors across schools in the city to use to monitor carbon dioxide levels in the city. And this gives them a real-time value for the systems, and therefore they have the ability to see how their policies are actually panning out towards the city's targets of becoming carbon neutral by 2030. So again, more of these big data sets being pulled in and used, and we're seeing lots of different ways that people can use this data. In the fit-out sector, with the FIS, who have recently become affiliates for the UK BIM Alliance, they have relaunched their BIM toolbox, which is designed to help their members develop and deliver BIM implementation plans. So lots of useful documents that have now been updated to reflect the introduction of the ISO as opposed to the old British standards. Moving on now to UK BIM Alliance update, and again we talked about the new ISO standards that have come out, and therefore the UK BIM Alliance framework guidance, which is a fantastic suite of documents, has also been busy. We now have the information protocol, which has been published in the last quarter, which deals with contractual implementation of BIM. There is a learning outcomes framework, which has been published as well. There is a new guidance to guidance part 2 for ISO 19650, a 5th edition of that. And there is also a 1st edition of guidance to part 3, the very most recent standard. Now, with part 2 guidance, this was starting to become a really large document. So what has happened now is that this is actually being split out, and you can now take this guidance into more bite-sized chunks of the 6 documents that have been produced there, and no doubt more will follow. But rather than being faced with a 200, 300 page document, these are more specific and help you to deal with specific parts of the workflow. And in order to help us all to understand that, there have also been a series of workshops being produced which allow everybody to actually ask questions and find out more about it. So these are all available at the web link there, the ukbimalliance.org events site. Next up with the UK BIM framework, sorry, UK BIM Alliance, there has been a project carried out called BIM for Housing Associations. They have published a first report here, and they are looking to help to understand how that sort of asset management, lifestyle management works in the housing sector for housing associations. The UK had their last Alliance Forum, their public sort of open event, yesterday afternoon. So that will be available soon on the Alliance YouTube channel, and the next forum will take place on the 9th of December.